It's time to wake up, people. This one goes out to teachers. Teachers and students. It's time to get our learn on. And we got a lot to learn, too. I don't know it all, but I know a few things. Science. You hear? You take up space, you matter. It's just science, man. Don't be a bully. Don't even be a bully to the bullies. It just makes more bullies. We can all be awful sometimes. We can all also be awesome. It's time to be more awesome. And that's what it's time for. History. We got to study it so we don't repeat it. But if history does repeat itself, then I'm going to name my pet dinosaur Reginald. I just hope he doesn't eat me. We can't just study history. We got to make history. And history is made by ordinary people. Ordinary people like you and me. And that guy. The world's greatest thinkers. Confucius, Albert Einstein, Justin Timberlake. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like me. But I put my pants on one leg at a time while I'm dancing. You can go by. Yeah. You're gonna be in the video though. Life is school, and you gotta show up. You can't just sleep in. You can't be late. And you can't just hang out in the bathroom, that's gross. It's like what Whitman said, YOLO. Except he didn't say that, but you would know that if you would read a book, baby. Seriously, read a book, any book except the vampire ones. You want to change the world? You gotta know about it. What if Shakespeare didn't go to school? His plays would be even more confusing. To be or not to be? Is that the question? I don't know what a question is. I didn't go to school. Anybody? Help me out here. I got a question for you. What are you teaching the world? How to be boring? How to make the world sad? No, you're not. We're teaching the world what it looks like to be awesome. No matter who you are, somebody's learning from you. Everybody's a teacher and everybody's a student. Look for the awesome. Teachers see things. They see when you're running down the hall. They see when you're passing notes. But they also see the person that we can all become someday. A writer or a speaker or Martin Luther King. Teachers, keep teaching. Students, keep studenting. That's not a word. Sorry about that. Here's to teachers that see the awesome. The homework is this. What do you want to teach the world? Do it. Let's make some history together. Because it's simple math. Together, we're better. Those girls are a little too loud. Is there a teacher who inspires you? Let them know. This is for teachers everywhere. So share it with them. We gotta make the world awesome. Somebody's learning from you. I'm out. Get to learn on. We're making history. I'm gone.
Awesome.
Great Saturday, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the R.E.A.L. Academy. I am Dr. Sheikah Houston, and my trustmate in education, Dr. Tammy Taylor. She is not with us today because she's leading one of her groups that she is the president of, the National Elementary Leaders Group here in our state. So she's actually in Columbia. So I'm like Principal Hurt and Principal Kafele today. I'm solo. So thank you all for being with us. I hope your Saturday is going well so far. Tammy and I are educational leaders in South Carolina. Between the two of us, we have about 40 years of experience. We are the co-founders of Create and Educate, which is a literary and consulting firm. So we help leaders and teachers improve schools. Our schools were on the state-sanctioned list not too long ago, and we were able to raise our report card levels with our phenomenal staff members, 2 and 3 report card grade levels in 1 year. So we like to pay it forward. We like to help other leaders and schools and teachers with the knowledge that we gain going through that process. So today I'm going to be talking about one of the things that I do in my role now as the MTSS director is I help teachers improve Tier 1 instruction. Most of what I do is affiliated more with the interventionist and making sure that we're getting our students who are in tiers 2 and 3 to the interventions that they need to get back to tier 1. But if you know anything about teaching and learning, you know you can't intervene your way out of tier 1 issues. So some of the problems that we have are tier 1 issues. So a lot of what I do also is work with our teachers to make sure that our tier 1 instruction is sound. And lately, we have found that there are some things that need to happen. And in meeting with teachers, that's how I came up with my topic for today, which is how do we respond when kids aren't engaged in schools? And this is a common theme that I'm hearing from school to school, multiple teachers, whether it's middle or high school. Kids just, they're saying that after the pandemic, and might have been a lot before, they just don't care about school like they used to. So, you know, what do we do when that happens? And I used Kid President in my intro this morning. My daughter, when I was listening to it yesterday, you're listening to Kid President? She recognized his voice. But just as he stated in his pep talk, you know, we have to let children know that why things are important. We have to make sure they know why they're relevant. He said, science, you take up space, you matter. Science is everywhere. So we should be able to really easily connect children with science. And then history, study it so it doesn't repeat itself. And we can't just study it, we have to make it. So getting our students engaged in all of our subjects, because what I'm hearing from a lot of our teachers is that because my subject isn't tested, science or social studies, and you all, when they say you all, they mean the state or the district, have put so much emphasis on ELA and math, the students don't care about my subject matter anymore. And so sometimes teachers feel like unless their subject is tested, it's looked upon as if it doesn't matter. But that's our job, the adults, in messaging, that we make sure they understand that every subject matters, and we have to tell them why. We don't just let them take those messages from what is being tested, because at my state meetings, what we know is that even though science, math, and ELA are the ones that's tested, a lot of those passages, a lot of those word problems that they're getting are science and social studies based. So even though they're not tested per se, that content is on the test. So it's important for me to make sure I'm relaying that information to the teachers as well as the students. But testing shouldn't be that reason why we want our children to be engaged anyway. It should be something far beyond that. And so as I was looking into this, disengagement in school is really very likely to happen with children around ages 14 to 16. So probably when they're about teens. But honestly, as a parent in my own home, I have seen the disengagement with my own daughters starting as early as after 3rd grade. That interest level for school starts to go down. And one of the reasons that research shows that they start to lose interest is because they don't know where it leads. They can't see that ending, you know, where is this going? So as adults, again, it's our jobs to make sure that we're drawing that picture for them. We're making sure they know why this is important, why you need this. And my mom is on. Hi, Mom. She would always instill in my sister and I that education was important. And as the educators at school, we are probably doing this if we have our own children. But I think it's also important to make sure we relay to our parents some of the things that we're doing, because sometimes we may have more of a knowledge base about certain things than parents may know because of our field. And then we explain to them what we're doing with some of our children so they can also do the same thing at home. Because 3 university studies have shown that parents who want their children to succeed academically in school are much more influential over that success and those outcomes than the school will ever be. So when parents understand their power in that process, they can also do things outside of what the school is doing to make sure that their children are successful. And I don't mean that we're relaying that information in a way that we're talking down to parents. I mean that we're saying, giving them this statistical information and saying that's why we are so important. It's so important for us to be partners, you parents as partners. We have to do this together. So a lot of the things that I post about my daughters is for that exact reason. Not that I'm bragging about anything or I'm saying, hey, look at my kids. I'm friends on Facebook with a lot of the parents and people in my community, grandparents, and some people don't like to be friends with people from their community. I do. I'm from the community, and I'm vested in making sure our children do well. So I want the parents to do well also. So me sharing that information and giving examples, and you all doing that as leaders in your own communities, you can use other people's stories. Don't just throw out the facts and what the research says and the studies. Give them some stories of where this has actually happened with some people who did XYZ as a parent, and this is how their child got to be successful. And sometimes it's not happening with parents because they didn't experience success in school. And even though they didn't experience the success, let them know too some stories of where parents didn't experience success themselves, but they made sure that their children experienced success in school. So we can always find these types of stories to relay to parents and make sure that we're getting them on as partners. So this slide I have up here, my oldest daughter, she wants to be, well, first of all, her favorite subject was science. So once I knew that, I started pushing her towards things that she said she liked. She wanted to be a meteorologist. So she got into R.E.A.L.'s meteorology camp. They had, and it's a culturally relevant experience. So they had several African-American meteorologist speakers on. So that exposure for her was important to cultivate that. I needed her to see that end goal for herself. There's people like you doing this. Yes, you can do this. Now, once she got through the camp and she heard all of the meteorologists talk about how they have to get up at 2:00 in the morning to report the weather, she changed her mind. Mommy, I don't like getting up early. I don't want to be a meteorologist. We had that discussion about she can't sleep her life away, but she still changed her mind. So then she came up with marine biology. They did the same thing, had several African-American marine biologists on. Once she started hearing what they did, she kind of got away from that more so. And then she started saying she wanted to be a veterinarian. My point is, it's my job as the parent to make sure I'm exposing her to experiences for her to learn what she wants to do. Now, this may happen sometimes with our children at schools. And then that's why I said it's important for us to let parents know about these opportunities. Some of them may not know about R.E.A.L. That's why I post these types of things for people to be able to experience. So now that she wants to be a veterinarian, she's in Kid Vet Club, another camp for her. So we're going to see how that will go. But I make sure she sees people like her that are veterinarians, these images. And imagery is very important in school. I'm on the board for the Medical University of South Carolina, MUSC, here in our county. They have a therapy animal program. She's going to be a part of that as well, where she'll go around and do pet therapy. One of the teachers that I was speaking to about helping him improve told me a lot of information that I didn't know about veterinarians, getting into veterinarian school, and just some things, tips that will help. So it's important for me as an educator to pass this type of information on to people in my community. And again, this is why I post these types of things so everyone will know. I send it through our Peach Jar communication, so parents in the community can know if your child wants to be a veterinarian, they can participate in pet therapy through the hospital system. My younger daughter wants to be an artist, and a lot of times we even sometimes as educators and as parents, when our children say that they are interested in artistic things, we say, oh, you can't make any money in art or dance, or, we push them away from the things that they're passionate about. I don't believe in that. I don't do that. It's my job as a parent to cultivate her love and then make sure that she is going to make money in art. So I found art therapy, and she will go to the hospital and participate in art therapy as volunteer work. So again, children don't have the background experiences that we have as adults, parents or teachers. It's our job to build that knowledge of what they need to know to be successful. So as teachers and as administrators, it's important for us to make sure that we're hooking our students in and making sure they understand why things are relevant. So one thing that I know that we don't have at a lot of our high schools is information about dropout rates. If you drop out, you're 3 times more likely to be unemployed. It says your life expectancy is 10 times lower than people who graduate. Your possibility of being incarcerated goes up to 63%. These are the things that the messaging, the things that they need to see and hear from parents and from the adults in the building. Why is this important? We'll know a lot of times, and we take for granted that, oh, the kids know that they need. No, they don't know. We have to tell them why it's important, and we can't say it one time at the beginning of the year. We have to constantly remind them of why it's important. And sometimes even hearing that won't be enough. You have to say that along with some other things. I definitely want to make sure we have things up in our schools about HBCUs. And it says here how they're responsible for 75% of all Black PhDs, 49%, and I can't see that well, 50% of Black engineers, 80% of federal judges, but several things here, 75% of Black veterinarians. HBCUs are responsible for lots of successful people in our community. So it's important for our students to understand what HBCUs are. Some of them don't even know the differences between 2, 4, and 4-year colleges, much less have heard about an HBCU. It's our job to make sure we're telling them about these types of things and make sure that these things are posted in our schools, that they're up, that they know what they are, that we're talking about them. One of the biases that we have as educators, a lot of times we push college because that's what we did. But we do have to make sure that we are also directing our children towards careers. So also having imagery up about careers that they can go into is important. Welding, welders are in such high demand and start off with $35 an hour a lot of times. But of course, because we're educators, we don't push those things because this is not our area that we don't know about. It's our jobs to find out and to make sure that we're connected with our career centers and make sure that we are also exposing our children to this. HVAC, lots of money to be made, and the average starting salary is higher than a teaching salary. Utility workers, again, starting salary higher than a teacher's salary, which means we got to do better in the education field with our salaries, especially here in the South. I think in the North, you all are much better off in that area than we are. Masonry, there's so many things, plumbing, electricity, carpentry, automotive technology. But again, this is that bias where we don't push these things because of our backgrounds. So we have to make sure that we are exposing children to the right things and that our messaging is correct, that we're saying the right things, and that children know where these outcomes are going to lead them. So when students are making comments like, and this is what one of the teachers was telling me, and you all bear with me because I'm by myself, so it's hard for me to talk and put these comments up, but I'm gonna try to do my best. When students are saying things like, well, we only care about math and ELA because that's what's tested, then we haven't been saying the right things in the first place. Because caring about ELA and math because it's tested is not why they should want to care about ELA and math anyway. You want to be able to read. You know, you if you're going to have children one day, you're going to want to be able to read to your children. If you're going to ever enter into any type of contract, if you're going to buy a home for yourself, if you're going to go to the hospital and have surgery, you're going to want to know how to read. You're going to want to understand how the human body works. So no one is telling you that you need surgery on something that you really don't need surgery on. So relevant reasons why things are important is more important than whether or not something is tested. And then the other thing that a lot of the teachers are telling me is that children are saying they don't even see themselves going to high school. And I'm like, wow, you know, that's heartbreaking that you don't even see yourself going to high school. So again, we have to make sure that they understand what that end goal looks like, and we have to engage them. And what they see themselves being are rappers and NFL players. So now that they've told us what they're interested in, this is it, that the rap field and you know, sports, that's their interest. So you can use that as a teacher to engage them. Hey guys, if we finish our work, we're going to have an important discussion today. Do you really know your rapper? Because a lot of them don't understand that the lifestyles that are portrayed in these videos are not the real lifestyle of the rapper. So when you're engaging them in, do you really know your rapper, and are they really making the amount of money that you think they're making? Or is that money actually going to the people that own the record label? Then you start to open their eyes. But now I have their attention. It may not be because they're so interested in math, ELA, and science, but I've got their attention to do the work. And then we have these discussions. So with these discussions, you're letting them know, hey, I'm listening to you. I hear you. I hear that this is what you're saying is important to you, but let's talk about it. And now you're building relationships with your students where they feel like you care about them because you're willing to even go an extra mile to do this research that has nothing to do with the lesson. But this is how you're going to get them engaged in what really matters, because you're teaching them what, you know, these things really mean. Do you really know what it takes to go pro? Because some of them don't. Some of them will say they want to be an NFL player, and then in the next breath, if you say, well, are you on the football team? No. Okay, so you know, we got to make some connections here to reality and make sure that we're on the right track. I don't believe in killing children's dreams. I don't believe in telling them, hey, you're not going to be a rapper or NFL player, because we don't know what a child can do. Children can do anything they want to do. What I'm saying is we have to give them all of the information that they need in order for them to be able to make the right decisions. And a lot of times what I see happening is that we give up. We throw our hands up when they say, hey, I don't care about this, and we stop. And it's almost like the conversations I used to have with my students when they would come in, if they were being bullied or something, they didn't have the right response. So I said, that's what they said. And we would go through some having the right responses to those things, you know, a little bit unorthodox, but I wanted to make sure that they knew how to stand up for themselves. So I have come to the end of my time. I had some more stuff, I'm sorry, but it is time to for us to get on with Principal Kafele, and I'll finish this next week, and Tammy will join us next week. But let's not give up on our children. Let's make sure that they are engaged, and we can completely get them engaged as the parents and as the educators. So thank you all for joining me. Tammy and I will finish this topic next Saturday. And have a great rest of your Saturday. Join me on Principal Kafele's page, and then on Sunday with Josh, Dean, and Chris for Unlock the Middle. Thank you.